Have you noticed that the mind is a troubleshooter? What the mind loves is trouble. It loves a problem. Right, for most of us, the tendency of our mind is not to get stuck on the positive things, on lovely thoughts about nice memories, tales of gratitude or enjoyment. Now, what the mind likes is to dwell in the things that might go wrong and to give us tasks to perform to stop these things happening. And when we sit to meditate, this is exactly what will happen. This is what we are working with. What will happen is that we will be faced with an endless stream of problems and of tasks brought to us in our thoughts. So the mind will say things like, I haven't got time to meditate now. Or what about this relationship problem? What about this issue at work? You need to do that. Or the fact that these thoughts are coming up means that I'm not in the right mood to meditate. So on and so on and so on. It's endless stream. And our task in a meditation is to see if we can avoid being pulled in to that narrative, into the problem narrative. In meditation, we are just seeking to dwell in the world as it is. To recognize that so many of those stories about how the world needs to be different, they're simply thoughts, stories, they're just involuntary happenings of the mind. They're not truths. So in a meditation, we witness that, and we sit with the resolve not to be pulled in, not to be pushed around, not to be controlled by the troubleshooter. There has to be time where we can come out of that. And the mountain meditation is an excellent way to do this. What we do here is that we use the image of a mountain. It doesn't have to be a mountain, it can be anything really. It could be a tree, something grounded into the earth, something large and stable. And we use this to help us embody an attitude of stillness and of resolve, of groundedness. We come to inhabit that attitude ourselves using the image of the mountain in this case. Because the mountain is a wonderful image of something that doesn't get pushed around, affected, that doesn't react to what goes on around it. Whatever weather the mountain faces, it just sits there. It isn't perturbed. It isn't worried by the weather. It doesn't identify with the weather. It just sits through, still and serene. And we use an image of a mountain in this practice. We conjure up this image as vividly as we can, and then we come to identify ourselves with the mountain. We bring ourselves into this image. And the key here is to feel the body, to feel into the body as our own mountain. We feel our own groundedness on this earth. We feel the peak of the mountain, the very top of our body, and we feel the whole body of the mountain spreading down below. And it's really this return to the body that provides the sense of stillness and stability. It's coming home into the body that enables us to find a place outside of the problem-solving, troubleshooting mind. And this is what we use to help us just gently encourage a different way of being, one where we can remain at home in our bodies. We can remain composed, secure, as we are. And whatever thoughts, sensations, stories, problems arise around this feeling of the body, we just witness them like the mountain witnesses the weather. We just sit. We observe the weather of our own mind, and we know that we don't need to react. All of those so-called problems are simply creations of our thinking mind. All those tales about what needs to be done. There might be relative truth in that, but many of them, most of them, there will not be. And there must be a time where we can come out of the problem solving and into just a contented, open appreciation of this world, and rest in the serenity of the mind. So in Chinese and Japanese Buddhism, a common form of meditation is called serene reflection or silent illumination. And what's done here is that we cultivate a serene or silent base in our meditation. And then we reflect or illuminate everything around that base. So in a mountain meditation, it's the feeling of the body, the living, breathing body, that provides us with this stillness and serenity as we come to dwell in that. And then we reflect or illuminate everything else that arises in our experience. We just register the thoughts, the feelings, the problems, just as happenings of the mind, the weather of our own life. And then in doing this, we find ourselves open to life once more, rather than wrapped up in how life needs to be different.